Your aura expresses itself in electrifying colors. If you've ever seen a flash of purple, gold, or green light around someone or yourself, what you're witnessing is a living, breathing spiritual power. Every thought you think, every choice you make, it all shows up as color energies in your auric field. And they're revealing exactly where you are on your spiritual path. These energies are telling your story. It's time to learn the language of the aura. In this video, let's decode what your spiritual colors are saying about you. One of the most fascinating things about the auric field is its color. You are a combination of fathomless colors. Think of yourself as expressing this color in all facets of your consciousness. And each part of that aura, each facet and color, is revealing a different aspect of your consciousness. Now, what's fascinating is even the shades of colors have great varying meanings and intentions. An emerald green means something very different in the auric field from an avocado green. Or a bright orange means something very different than a dirtied orange. Or a lemon yellow is very different from a scratchy tan color. So today we're going to explore what the auric colors mean in you, what they say about you, and of course, the most important thing, how can you brighten your aura? Because your auric colors are changing as you are changing, and your goal is to brighten up your auric field. If there's some of these more unpleasant energies in your aura, you want to release them from your life so you can build up more of the divine auric powers. Now, what I'm sharing with you comes from a very ancient tradition, the Hermetic sciences that go way, way back. Our beloved co-founder and spiritual teacher, Barbara Martin, could see the aura in fascinating detail. But when she was a child, she was born with these ability to see the colors, but she didn't quite understand or could interpret them. She knows she was attracted to someone that has a bright, energetic colors and detracted to those that had more menacing colors. It wasn't always pleasant seeing these energies around people, especially if they were angry, because it created very discordant energies in the auric field. But when she was as young as 11 years old, she started getting some private instruction from another teacher who could see the aura like her and who had been trained her whole life in the Hermetic tradition. Her mother, her grandmother, and her were all trained in this very ancient art, and she taught Barbara what she was seeing, the color interpretation. And of course, this has been corroborated decades now of working with the auric field. So what you're getting here is some of the most accurate, clear understandings of what the auric colors are actually all about. We can divide the auric colors into two broad categories. One category is enlightened colors. It just sounds great, right? Enlightened colors. Well, what do we mean by that? Well, enlightened colors are spiritual energies that are imbued with their divine attributes. So, for example, if you're a very talented individual, you're going to have some very bright blues, electric blues, that sometimes call them peacock blue color. It's got that divine essence of creativity and energy in it. And that is an enlightened color. It is enhancing the auric field. It is making you more creative, more expressive in your life. And of course, you want more variety of these types of colors. Those are enlightened colors. The other category are also the unenlightened colors. And the way to think of this is that unenlightened colors are color energies that originally started as enlightened, but something happened to dilute them or demote them or corrupt them into their unenlightened state. So these are energies, obviously, we're trying to release from our auric field. We don't want these, but in our human experience, we are going to generate some of these many times without realizing that's exactly what we're doing. So an example here, in the auric field, when you have good powers of concentration, a strong, alert, intellectual mind, you're going to have a lot of very bright, brilliant, lemon yellow light in your auric field, especially around the head area, which means that you do have that ability to really focus on something, stay on it, not deviate, not wander around or lose your attention 2 seconds later. And of course, the more you develop this part of you, the more that energy starts to show up. So when you're dealing, let's say, with mathematicians that can hold all these calculations in their mind without even writing it on paper, that's a very strong intellectual mind at work there. But let's say somebody started that way, but then they went into, they became a couch potato, or they spliced their brain on drugs, or they just became lazy and they stopped using that muscle. Just like, again, if you're not using your muscles, eventually what? It weakens. And over time, that energy can move from that very beautiful lemon yellow, bright concentration powers to what we call the creamy mustard or the scratchy tan energies. That's an unenlightened color energy. And what it's saying is that this person has poor concentration. They're easily confused or disoriented. And these tend to be people that cannot concentrate for 5 seconds on something. It can change. It doesn't have to stay that way. But amazing how the aura doesn't lie. Whatever is really going on with you is seen in those auric colors. Now, another note before we get into some of the other definitions of color energies is when we say color in terms of the aura, we don't mean like color fabric, or we don't mean like colored lights coming in or something of that nature. We're not talking about something physical. We are talking about something spiritual. These are living powers that come through as color. So when you are potentially experiencing one of these energies, it's not, let's say, just a perceptual experience. You are getting into the experience of it. It's a living power. These are living powers in you that are coming through in these brilliant colors. All right, with that in mind, let's go ahead and start to look at some of these great color energies. So the first one let's look at is probably the most famous auric color of all, white light. The white light, it's depicted in so many settings of spiritual and religious, the white light of God, the illuminating power of the white light. I saw the light, it was this brilliant white light. It has multiple energies within it. But what it does is it really brings you more into the presence of the divine. In this world, we do get caught up in the day-to-day cares and all the things that are going on with us, and we can lose that connection. And the white light, the white color aura, means that this person is in alignment with their divine nature. Now, it's often seen around the auric field. And this is when sometimes we're being blessed with this power to uplift us. So if you are feeling a little consumed with the care in the world right now, and you're not feeling quite that objectivity that you would like to have, almost envisioning that white light around you to just almost lift you out of whatever it is that is bothering you at that moment, the white light can do this. Now, as its name also implies, it has a very illuminating quality to it. Light and darkness. You're in a dark room, you can't see very well, you turn on the light, there is light, you see. Well, this white light, as it comes in and illuminates, or as it's expressing us in our aura, means that we have a better ability to sort of see beyond the surface of things, to try to see things more as they really are. And then there's a quality of the white light related to revelation, the ability to understand new things, things that you had no idea about before. That spark that's often connected with inspiration, but when you're in that revelatory mode, it's extremely exciting because that feels like this mystery of life is now clearer. I'm seeing it more for what it is. Now, this white light also can bring in a lot of what's termed redemptive power. So if someone has done something that's not so wonderful, maybe they did hurt somebody, maybe they were callous, maybe they did steal some money or something of that nature. They did something that was disturbing the again, shall we say, the spiritual laws. And now they're trying to set the record straight. They realize it was not the right thing to do, and they're making amends. They're redeeming themselves. They're paying back that money they took, or whatever it is that happened. They're helping that person they originally hurt. And as you're in the process of doing that, this white light is going to come through more and more and more. It's, again, there's that uplifting quality with it. Now, it is actually kind of a hard energy to maintain in the auric field because you have to really be living this power. Because it's so high, because it's so strong, you really have to be in that higher state. But of course, you want to build up this power in your aura because it's fundamentally important to climb the spiritual ladder, the pure white light. Now, the next one is kind of akin to the white light, and it is the gold light. Golden light. This is a brilliant, powerful energy. And this brings in many, many different qualities of life. Because this light, one of its fundamental qualities is it is dynamic. So in life, there is an interplay between dynamic and magnetic. If you're going to call it positive and negative, male, female, masculine, feminine, whatever words you want to use, there is this polarity in life that's going on right now. In all creation, there is this inherent polarity. It exists not just in the physical realms, it exists in the spiritual realms. So there are aspects of life that are moving in the tremendous dynamic flows and those that are moving in the magnetic, and some have sort of a combination. Some of these powers bring in sort of both. But the gold is very dynamic. And when I'm speaking dynamic, I'm not speaking aggression. I'm not speaking, I'm going to step on everybody to get to the top of the ladder. I mean you asserting yourself in confidence and in self-assurance. So those that have gold in their auric field are dynamic individuals. They are doers. They do the things that they're going to say. And there's a certain honest confidence because they know they're walking with the divine. And also, this brings in a lot of courage especially under fire, when things around you are not so easy, but you're doing the right thing. This gold brings in that magnificent dynamic power. So if at all you're feeling afraid or hesitant or second-guessing yourself, this gold is very important. These also tend to be very decisive people. So if gold especially is seen around the head area, it's saying that not only when they make a decision, they've made it clearly, they stand by that decision. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean they're stubborn if they see there's a change to be made, but if you don't follow through in the things you're saying you're going to do, how are you going to see the changes in life you need? And because of all the things that are being thrown at us these days, you need dynamic power to see things all the way through. So this is a quality of life we all need to have. It does also bring in wisdom. Now, wisdom, of course, has to be earned. You can't just suddenly become have wisdom. You have to earn it through the way you're living your life. But when this gold is strong in the auric field, it also means that the soul is understanding the lessons of life they're going through and have reached that place of gleaning wisdom. When you've struggled through something and you didn't understand why this was happening, and you sort of reach the end and you light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, and now you understand what's going on and you have embodied the lesson that it teaches, that's true wisdom. And that will show up as this brilliant gold light, a very powerful energy to have in your auric field. Now, another one equally important, but in its complete, shall we say, complementary way, is this magnificent pink light. You want a lot of pink light, especially that rose pink light in your auric field, because that brings in the divine qualities of love. Divine love. And one of the quickest signs to show that you are in communion with the higher powers is when you have this rose pink light in your auric field. It is also, as the gold was very dynamic, the pink is very magnetic. It brings in the magnetic qualities of life. They're equally important You have to be dynamic and magnetic in equal balance. If you notice you're leaning one way or the other, there's potentially a little imbalance in the auric field, and you want to keep that equilibrium. That shows kindness, compassion, consideration, joy, the ability to receive. Sometimes we want to do the giving but never the receiving. There has to be what? Give and take. That's how the exchange works. And that rose pink light keeps you in that loving flow. Love is the foundation of life. It's the foundation of all of it. It's the foundation of all the spiritual path. Every step on that spiritual ladder is paved in love. So those that are not very expressive in their love or don't have a lot will be missing this energy, and you're wondering why they're grumpy, why they're mean, why they're surly. Well, the power's not there to bring that loving expression, and now it's their job to start fanning those loving fires. So start with the love you have, wherever it is, however simple it may be, and it will what? It will expand, it will grow, and you want that aura, your aura, to be glowing in this loving light. Now let's talk about a fascinating ray in the auric field. It comes through as a brilliant emerald green light. Emerald green, like the precious jewel. It's a very illuminating, very vibrant power. And when it's seen in the auric field, it is showing somebody that's in a very balanced and harmonious state. Equilibrium. We constantly hear the expression mind, body, soul, harmony. Harmony is meaning when two or more things are working together very well. In music, it's when like two or more musical sounds are in harmony with each other. And there's something very pleasing, very beautiful, very symmetrical about that. And we want our life to be in harmony. We want to be in harmony with the divine flows. We want to be in what? Divine rhythm. And then we have like a pace to our life. There's a process of how our life unfolds, step by step by step by step. And we're walking in that pace. And people that live in that rhythm, if you're living in that rhythm, you're going to have that emerald light very strong. And it's important in all facets of the auric field. It's particularly important in the heart center because this is the energetic nucleus of all your world affairs, everything going on in your life, all the balls you are juggling in your life have an energetic connection here, and it's easy to feel kind of lost in the activities. And if you have that emerald green very strong, it means you've put everything in your life sort of in its divine order. Even if all the problems of your life are not solved, all the mysteries are not unveiled, you're walking in rhythm. The patience is there, the steadiness. Yes, by the way, people who are patient will have emerald green in their auric field because they understand in time the answers will come. As long as I'm doing my part, that's what's most important. Now, the last of the enlightened that we'll look at right now is again another fundamentally important power, and one that we seem to be crying out for so much in the world today. Peace. Purple light in the auric field shows a peaceful person. A person that is not in an agitated frame of mind, that is not in a constant state of anxiety and distress and, oh my God, the world is falling apart, everything's destroying itself, all of that. There's an inner peace. What do we do when we go to a hushed forest, or sometimes we want to go deep into nature? It's to be in that what? Tranquil state. Peace. But we don't, as beautiful as it is to go to the forest or to nature to find that tranquility, we don't have to do that. We can build it in ourselves. And those people, if you're that person that kind of can be the eye in the middle of the storm, where you don't get so easily, your feathers so easily ruffled when things are happening, you can find sort of that inner equilibrium. That means there's beautiful purple light in your auric field. And it is a powerful energy, but because through the purple, through the peace, through the stillness, we can hear the voice of the divine. In silence, we have to be still to know that God is. And you need to establish that peace, the peace that passes all understanding, the peace of spirit. It's a powerful energy in the auric field, and you want to build it more and more. Now, a fascinating quality related to this is sometimes you will see in the auric field, the purple will be under the feet. Interesting, almost like these waves of energy. And this means someone who has recently overcome a great difficulty. So if you have struggled through something and you kind of came out the other side, oh, that's finally over. And there is that kind of sense of peace again. In a way, you conquered something, and that is showing up in your auric field as this purple under the feet. You've got it underfoot. That issue that was distressing you, it is no more. So we see how everything going on in our life is reflected in the auric field and where the auric colors are and how they're expressing themselves. Now let's talk about a little the unenlightened colors. Now here we have to be honest with ourselves. We're not perfect yet. We're striving for that perfection, but we're still like mystics in the making here. So we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have these internal grumblings. We're going to have things that are not like our most beautiful quality that we possess. And these are going to be reflected in our auric field too, because the aura is changing. Remember, we're trying to drop away that which is not so wonderful and bring in more of the divine. We're trying to strengthen and mature our character. In that forging, the aura is going to have sort of these mixed colors. It's going to have this combination of enlightened energies, but also unenlightened energies. Fortunately, for most of us, we have more enlightened than unenlightened, so we're going to use our strengths to change our weaknesses. But we do have to be honest with ourselves when we do have potential weaknesses, because how are you going to change something if you don't know there's something to change? Now, in these unenlightened colors, again, remember, these are colors that originally started as sort of somehow divine, but got demoted because we have free will how we use the energy within us. So it can start out as a brilliant, beautiful color. Through our own force of will, we can direct it in other avenues. Okay, so let's start with a very common one, which is gray. Gray. Gray is a debilitating color in the auric field. It shows a weakness, a loss of vitality, and it comes through in varying shades, from the light gray to the dark charcoal gray energies, and those all mean different things. But one of the basic energy or qualities, if someone has gray in their aura, it means there's a worry, it means there's an anxiety, it means there's a distress going on. So if you are chronically worried about something, or if you are worry-wart, you may have some of that gray in your auric field. And the problem is, if it builds, you tend to want to do more of that worry. Now, somehow we think we're being realistic sometimes when we worry. Oh, you got to worry about this. Look at those troubles in the world. There's troubles going on here. Well, of course, you have to address problems and challenges, but you want to address them from a place of strength. Worry weakens you. It doesn't strengthen you. And along with this, the other very big thing the gray can reveal is fear. If we are afraid of something, if we are apprehensive about something, that gray can show up. Another unenlightened color is an energy that's called vitiated red. Vitiated means a dirtied red. This is a very dark maroon color, but it's a dirtied maroon. And again, we're not talking reflective light or clothing. We're talking about a living power. And this energy can be quite violent, meaning it shows anger, it shows potential rage. When someone gets really upset at somebody, these firecracker-like dirtied red energies start moving out. And when you're angry, you may want to take it out physically, right? And that's going to happen with that vitiated red. Now, if it's calmer than that, let's say I'm just irritated with somebody, right? It'll come through as almost like these little sparkles, these little fireflies of the vitiated red, and a lot of it will be coming out of the emotional part of us. Not a healthy energy to have at all. So again, we don't need to see the auric colors to get a sense of what's going on with us. So if you did get very angry, if you did get very upset, you may have some of that vitiated red in your aura, and you do want to release that. You want to get rid of that anger so that auric color can change into something more vibrant and constructive. Because when we're angry and we move in an angry way, it's going to produce angry results. Now, this energy also brings in lust. It's a lustful energy. Now, today sometimes we are confusing, love with lust. And when we're expressing things on the more animalistic level, and we see some people acting in this way, or if that energy is in the auric field, it means they could be a very lustful sort. They may be overindulging in sex or just insatiable or something of that nature. It's not a healthy energy. It's not a healthy energy because you want to have, let's say, healthy intimacies, healthy exchange, but you want it done on a loving level, not on a lower sort of animalistic level. And here's where we have to really bring in our higher powers to control our instinctual nature, so we're expressing those parts of us in a more loving, elevating, life-enhancing way. Now, another energy that's on the unenlightened level is the avocado green. It's a very dark, unpleasant color in the auric field, and this can mean jealousy and deceit. Barbara used to joke, don't try to buy a car from someone wearing avocado green, they'll try to cheat you. So if someone is trying to do a con job on you, or is just sort of a deceitful type for whatever reason, they're always trying to see what they can get away with and who they can unfortunately maybe cheat, and because maybe they're clever, they're getting away with it, and they're doing it, so proud of themselves how they finagled that out of somebody. Well, they may have gotten something out of somebody, but they're dirtying up their auric field, and it is creating, again, a very menacing energy in the aura. It's a very unpleasant energy to see in the auric field. And also interesting, its cousin of expression, jealousy. When we're jealous, when we're wishing we had what that person had, I'm so jealous of them right now. We know that also leads to very unpleasant results. If I'm wanting somebody and I'm jealous because they want somebody else, I may try to sabotage that relationship because I want them even though they don't want me. It's not a good way to do things. If you're seeing something that you would like in another person, use them as the example. Say, okay, they've got this, that's what I'd like to aim for, but don't get jealous. Don't covet thy neighbor's belongings, so to speak. It creates a very unpleasant energy in your auric field. And then there is another energy called the cocoa brown. It's a very, very dark brown light. That shows cruelty, meanness, pettiness. When you see someone that wouldn't give you a dime to save your life, they could have that cocoa brown in there. And when people speak cruelly, if you see it on the aura, that means they are a menacing person. It was a little sad to hear Barbara talk about that often she would see this color in successful business people because their minds were so focused on making money, they weren't realizing all the people they were hurting in the way that they were doing it, and they didn't care who they stepped on to make the money that they were trying to make. So, what do we talk about? We want win-win situations in our life. So yes, of course you want to get ahead, you want to achieve things, but you don't want to step on everybody else to make that happen. And especially you don't want to get into this sense of cruelty or pettiness in the process. As we can see, this is just a hint of how many energies are going on in our auric field. There are multiple shades of energies happening. These energies move in different degrees, but I hope I've shared with you some important foundations of what you need to accomplish in your life. Now, as you review this video, if you're noticing, well, maybe I've got some qualities in me I'm not so proud of, all right, maybe there are some things that's showing up in your aura that you need to change, but remember, you have the power to change your aura. You're in control of your auric energies. You help generate all these powers, right? So if life isn't going exactly the way you want it, start changing the aura, start working in the foundational energetic level, get those brighter colors going, keep accentuating the positive. Keep being more loving, more dynamic, more kind, more generous, more all these wonderful qualities that are the attributes of the divine life. I wish you the very best in your spiritual journey and in brightening your auric field. To learn more about your auric colors, check out our book, Change Your Aura, Change Your Life. And please subscribe to this channel to get more videos like this. Thank you.